Today's video is all about helping you build muscle faster by avoiding some very dumb mistakes that 99% of lifters make, killing their gains, and this is myself included, for years and years. And the only reason I've been able to build 50 plus pounds of lean muscle since I started lifting, I have paid massive attention to details. So we're gonna cover everything I've learned in 15 plus years of lifting with some of the biggest bodybuilding legends. First mistake is not training hard enough. Now, you don't need to collapse at the end of every single set, but I look around the gym sometimes and I hardly see anybody training hard. And you will never meet anyone who's built a ton of muscle mass or that has a great physique who does not train extremely hard. Now, one of my first sessions with the legendary trainer Charles Glass, we hit shoulders. Now, most of my shoulder workouts up to that point, I would get a good shoulder pump. I felt like I was having an effective workout. But my first session with Charles Glass hitting shoulders, it was harder than my leg days. I did not understand that I was not training hard enough, not only on leg day, but on every single other muscle group. So there's always intensity techniques that you can add to your workout, which we're gonna cover, that's gonna crank up the intensity. But if you have 5, 6, 7 reps in reserve at the end of every single one of your sets, if you are not dripping in sweat, if you do not feel challenged at the end of every single one of your workouts, you are not training hard enough.
We're doing leg day?
Yeah. Aww. The second extremely dumb mistake is skipping leg day. Now, the first 5 years of my lifting career, I was a huge leg day skipper. The only time I would do leg day, I wouldn't go down far enough on the squats, and my quads, my calves, my hamstrings, just flat out embarrassing. Do not make the same mistake I was making for years, because even if you don't care what your legs look like, your quads, hamstrings, and glutes, 3 of the 5 largest muscle groups in the human body, training your legs more is gonna increase your testosterone more than anything. And this is gonna have a huge carryover effect to every single other muscle group. So you gotta hit legs just as often as you hit biceps and chest. Before I continue, comment one other fitness YouTuber that you regularly watch, and I will select one person who comments in the first 8 hours of this video going live to win a $50 gift card to my company, elflion.com. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and you tap that bell. Third common mistake is ego lifting. Now, when you first start off in the gym, you're of course not that strong. So what do? You go in the bench press, you don't go down all the way. You half squat. When you're doing bicep curls, you're essentially doing a cheat curl where you're working every muscle group except your biceps. But if you're trying to build your arms and you do strict curls where you have no momentum and you're forcing the bicep to work, of course you're not gonna lift as much weight, but you're gonna build that muscle so much faster. The fourth mistake is lifting too fast. Now, this is one of the biggest secrets in the bodybuilding world that almost nobody knows about, but slowing down the eccentric portion of your rep, or actually lowering that weight, or say on a bicep curl, lowering that weight a little bit slower is gonna create more healthy micro tears and create more muscle damage. Now, I believe there was a study done in Brazil, and it showed that if you slow down the eccentric portion to 3 full seconds and then 1 second explosive on the concentric portion, you can build up to 3 times more muscle mass. So I cannot recommend enough incorporating some eccentric overload training with every single muscle group where you're going heavy, you're still failing in say the 8 to 12 rep range, but the only difference being you're slowing down your reps where you're going a full 3 seconds on the way down. The fifth mistake is not eating enough, and specifically carbs and protein. Now, I have this friend who legitimately has not gotten any bigger or stronger for almost a decade now, and he still goes to the gym all the time. And he has not counted his calories one day in his entire life. And he walked me through his full day of eating, and he was practically malnourished. Now, the biggest mistake is guys putting so much focus on their weight room sessions and not eating enough carbs and protein. Now, carbohydrates and insulin is actually the most anabolic thing in your body, so I cannot recommend enough. If you're struggling to build muscle, increase the carbohydrate intake both before and after your workout. Make sure you're getting in enough protein, approximately like 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight, and definitely eat about 1.5 grams of carbs per pound of body weight. You don't have to be in a massive calorie surplus and be in some crazy dirty bulk diet to build muscle. In fact, you can build muscle and even be at maintenance level calories, but you've got to be eating enough protein and carbohydrates. Number 6 is not tracking your workouts. One of the biggest drivers of muscle growth is mechanical tension, which means getting stronger, actually putting more weight on the bar. Now, I hardly see anyone ever tracking their workouts, but if you don't track your workouts, how the hell do you know if you're actually getting stronger? I like to keep it old school, and I simply bring a little workout log with me at the gym, but you guys gotta track your workouts in some way, shape, or form to make sure that you're getting stronger and increasing the intensity.
8, 9.
Number 7 is low training volume. One of the easiest ways to burst through a muscle building plateau is simply increasing the total number of sets that you do for that specific muscle group. Now, I like to keep a workout log and actually track my volume for every single muscle group. Now, one time I met this guy and he wanted to know why he just wasn't getting bigger, and he told me his workout split, and he literally did shoulders, biceps, and chest for pretty much all of his sets throughout the entire week. He wasn't hitting his back, he wasn't hitting his legs, any major muscle groups. So what I recommend is keep a training volume log and make sure if you just simply follow like a push-pull legs training split and you do at least one of those every single week, you're probably hitting enough volume. But if you're in a plateau, simply increase that volume and you're gonna build muscle faster.
Balloon method means you're triggering the 3 science-backed ways that your body builds muscle. So doing a little time under tension training, higher reps here.
Next up is not chasing the pump. Now, what I mean by this is not enough time under tension training where you are failing around the 45-second mark. Now, this is an incredible way to build muscle that is really overlooked, but you're actually gonna trigger metabolic stress, one of the 3 science-backed ways that your body builds muscle, by increasing the total time under tension. Now, this doesn't mean that you're lifting baby weights for 2 or 3 minutes in a set. You want to pick a moderate weight that you're going to fail at around, say, like the 30 to 45-second mark, and you're going to trigger metabolic stress. It's a great way to incorporate a finisher into your workouts after you lift heavy weight and trigger that mechanical tension. So we're on the leg press machine, and he has me doing the heaviest weight that I could possibly do. Next up is no intensity techniques. Now, this one could sort of be categorized under not training hard enough, but one of the first times I did legs with Charles Glass, he had me on the leg press. I was going extremely heavy, pushing myself to a weight I'd never really done before for 12 assisted reps. Now, immediately after this leg press set, Charles had me do a bodyweight lunges superset. Now, this was one of the most brutal things that I had ever done in my life, completely fatiguing my legs on the leg press and then doing a superset of bodyweight lunges. Superset is an intensity technique. A drop set is an intensity technique. Eccentric overload, like I explained earlier, is an intensity technique. And that's why the balloon method workouts that I recommend to you guys is essentially a collaboration of a few different types of intensity techniques to make your workout much more intense and help you build muscle faster. The next common mistake is poor sleep. Now, I sort of feel like your anabolic mother right now, but this one I had to throw on the list because when you're going in the gym, all you're doing is you're tearing up your muscles. They're actually gonna grow and recover and hopefully build up bigger and stronger when you're getting good quality sleep and good quality recovery. So if you're only sleeping 3-4 hours a night, you're tossing and turning, you're probably not gonna build muscle mass as fast as you could.
And if I'm being honest with you guys, my days have been starting pretty shitty recently.
Next up is high stress levels. Now, cortisol, a hormone that's secreted in your body, is the ultimate gains killer. When you have high cortisol, you're not gonna have high protein synthesis, you're not gonna have high testosterone. Now, if you're at a point in your life where your girlfriend just left you, you're flat out broke, you're about to be homeless, your entire life is just unraveling before your eyes, you can go to the gym all you want, but you're probably not going to build muscle mass. So get your life in order, get your finances in order, get your personal life in order, and I guarantee you, you're gonna build muscle mass so much faster.
I think when you start lifting, you feel weak, you're insecure, so you try to do everything you can to lift the most weight possible.
Next up is too much bicep training. Now, my first 5 years in the gym, this was hands down the biggest mistake that I made. I was obsessed with my biceps because I had very shitty biceps. Now, If you try to bring up your arms, you cannot be skipping leg day. You cannot be skipping all the compound exercises. Stick with push-pull legs, throw in an arms day, and you're gonna grow your arms as fast as genetically possible. But do not sit there and prioritize bicep training, which is one of the smallest muscle groups in your entire body, over every single other muscle group.
Go.
Next up is doing way too much cardio right before your weightlifting session. Now, I've actually done this experiment. I found that I'm about 20% weaker if I do like a 30-minute cardio session and then I try to lift heavy right after. I'm a good 20 to 30% weaker, and I see this mistake so much. You're trying to do everything at once. You're trying to do cardio, you're trying to burn fat, you're trying to build muscle. But if your biggest goal is building muscle mass fast, I recommend you do cardio at the end of your session, or you space it out where you have your intense weight room session and then maybe later in the day you do your cardio. But definitely don't do a really intense cardio session right before you lift. And half of those years, I did not know what the hell I was doing. And I guarantee you watching this video are making some killer mistakes. The next huge mistake is leaving out compound moves. Now, any type of bench, flat, incline, decline, great compound exercise. Deadlift, great exercise. Rowing, great exercise. Weighted dips, weighted pull-ups, barbell squats, dumbbell lunges. Compound moves are gonna work multiple large muscle groups, and they should be the bulk of your training, especially the first 5 years of your lifting career. So machines and cables are great. They have a time and a place. But if you are just starting off, I highly recommend you prioritize compound moves over everything else, and you're actually failing in that 8 to 12 hypertrophy rep range on your compound sets.
My client, he says, do you work with a guy named Troy? I said, yeah. He says, I thought so. Funny.
Last but not least is you do not follow a program. You simply walk in the gym and you do whatever the hell you want every single workout, which probably results in 0 leg days and a whole lot of bicep curls. Now, whether you follow push-pull legs, it doesn't really matter. If you follow some training split that you hit each muscle group at least 1 time per week, that is an effective training split. You don't need to overcomplicate it. If you want to just stick with what I suggest to you right now, push-pull legs, throw in an arm day if you want, and that is all you need to do. But follow some specific program for at least 12 to 16 straight weeks, and you guys are going to see much faster results. This video was inspired by a recent title I saw searching on YouTube by Sean Nall titled 15 Idiotic Muscle Building Mistakes. Now, after I made my list, I checked out his video, and our lists definitely differ a lot, so I'll throw his video down in the description below if you want to check it out. Now, another huge muscle building mistake is buying the wrong supplements. So many supplements are ineffective, they're not clinical dosages, and they're really going to do nothing for you except burn a hole in your wallet. So if you watch until the end, I hooked you guys up with an incredible discount from my company, alphalion.com. All you got to do is head to alphalion.com and use the code TROY20 for 20% off our clinically dosed supplements. Now, I recommend our SuperHuman Pre-Workout so you can train harder and longer, and pair it with SuperHuman Protein and SuperHuman Sleep to recover faster. But really, all of our supplements are clinically dosed and you cannot go wrong. So check it out. Simply go to alphalion.com. And if you want to stay right here on YouTube, I'm going to link over here to one of my favorite recent videos. I'm going to have the YouTube algorithm recommend a video over here. And I will see you guys on the next one.
No games, you ain't lift no weights.